Not applying for a radio clown position?
Nope. I don't even think I'll be a bystander.
Oh, yeah?
No, I'd be too nervous.
You ready to ride a bull?
No.
How about a wild horse?
Nope.
Stayed one more night at the Elkhorn Campground. The next morning we departed there for the Louisville Slugger Museum and the Churchill Downs Kentucky Derby
Museum. Yeah.
So we got there very early in the morning, so there's barely any traffic on the road. Thankfully, it was really nice. And we pulled up right in front of the Slugger Museum and Factory. And there's this giant bat. I think it's 202 or 220 feet tall.
I would have said 240.
Maybe. It's over 200 feet tall. Very large bat. We went inside. We ordered some bats for our nephews.
Yeah.
And some stickers and things like that. We ordered some customized, so names on the bat. We ordered us one as well.
Yep. Oh, I forgot. We're waiting on that one.
Yeah, we still haven't got it in the mail yet. And then we go do the factory tour. So there's a little museum that shows you, the famous bat that Louisville Slugger made was Babe Ruth, his notched bat. But what really impressed me was they have like a mint of every type of bat they've ever made. Just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of, maybe thousands and thousands and thousands of bats in there of different lengths and different shaft size and different notches on them or different whatever weights and things like
different
that.
Woods,
different
different
woods.
types of wood.
So it was really fantastic to see that. And then you go through the tour and you see how the bats are made. So your normal standard where you can buy it anywhere bat is made on a machine and they just mass produce those things. But the ones that are made for the baseball players, they're made on, there's two machines that make the ones for the baseball players. And they have a contract with Louisville Slugger to make them X number of bats per year. And I didn't realize this until this factory tour, but they put a little ink stamp on them and a date. And they're only good for a year. Yeah. In the major leagues. They can't use them past the year. So I didn't realize that they had to do that because the wood, the harder the wood, the better it hits home runs and things like that, but it dries out and they'll break the bat. So there was a couple of years ago where they were breaking bats left and right, evidently.
And if you see a signature on a Louisville Slugger bat, it was produced during the time frame where that player had a contract.
Yes.
The only person that had a lifetime, yours and mine and his, was Babe Ruth. Yeah. So, pretty cool.
Yeah, it was neat. And then they give you the little bat at the end, which is fun. I didn't know they were going to give us the bat.
No, I didn't.
But we got some, ends where they spin them on the lathe and cut the bats out. We got some little free ends and watched them, painting bats. And they were making all the new bats for the World Series, which is about to happen, and the playoff games. So they're making little bats to ship off for that. That's what they were making while we were there.
Yeah. And it's a fully working, functioning factory while tours go on every single day, all day long, which is really cool.
Small group of people just go in there every day and make awesome products.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed our time there.
Yeah.
We came back out to the street after the museum tour, and there was a card on the windshield of the truck.
Yeah.
Police officer had left us a note, and it was really neat.
Yeah.
Really neat note.
Not a ticket.
No, not a ticket.
A hello.
It was a hello, yes. Blair's referring to herself in third person. We are right by the University of Louisville, where the Cardinal Stadium is over here to our right. And Blair is thinking out loud. She goes, I wonder why all the gates are up. And then she says to herself, I bet it's because of the college football games. And then she says, yeah, you're right. I didn't say a word. I'm just driving. I cannot believe you refer to yourself in the third person. From there, we left and drove over to Churchill Downs. Mm-hmm. Now, I had in my mind these Kentucky green pastures, which is prevalent all throughout the area. But I had that, like Churchill Downs would be that, is in the middle of these rolling green pastures.
Yeah.
It is not.
It's not. It's in the middle of the city.
All around Churchill Downs is city, mm-hmm. houses, but not what I expected to be around the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
But we went in toured. They have this really cool 365-degree movie that you go in and watch. The sound is great. Mm-hmm. The picture is great, and you get to see kind of the day of what the Kentucky Derby race is. There's many races that happen that day, but the Kentucky Derby itself. And the mint juleps and all the dresses and the hats that people wear, and go inside, and how packed this place is, which is insane. Really amazing.
It's like NASCAR for horses.
Yes, yes. Very good way to put it.
It is. Infield's packed and everything.
But they talked about the dirt and the soil and the water content of the soil and how much water they put on it before the race starts. We didn't get to actually go on the track. They were doing some construction there. But we walked out to the edge.
Yeah.
And they have a museum that goes through and shows dresses and famous portions and famous horses. And
yeah.
Blair actually learned how to bet on a horse race.
Yeah, I did. I don't know odds. I mean, I wanted to pick an underdog, and I did. And it was based off a real race.
Yeah.
So you go through how you're going to pick your horse, and you pay your cash. It's all cash. And then you get your little ticket, and then you go around the way, and you watch the horse race, and you're cheering for your top three. And yeah, it's really cool. They couldn't tell us what the most expensive or most highest earnings
or highest bet ever. Mm-hmm. Because it's all done in cash.
It is. And a lot of them are, granted, there was one $1.5 million bet that someone placed. Unfortunately, that horse lost or came in last or something. But most of the time, they are small portions of money, multiple different bets. And by small,
$1,000?
Thousands of dollars.
Thousands of $1,000 bets?
Thousands of thousands of.
For tax purposes?
Yes.
But it's all cash. I didn't know that.
It's all cash. Yeah, I didn't know that either.
But I really enjoyed the movie. I really enjoyed walking around the little museum they have and the tour, and you can see all the stables that they have and the scoreboard. And
yeah,
it's.
I want to go back and do another tour.
Yeah, the movie makes you want to go to a race.
Yes, we will.
So we'll try to sneak back through Kentucky and get to a.
I have already
Kentucky Derby at some point.
Friends for a reunion. It'll happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
We left Churchill Downs and drove east on I-64 and stopped in a little place called Lincoln City, Indiana, for Lincoln's boyhood home. So after he left Kentucky, he moved here. It's one of the smaller stops on the National Park Tour. Not much to see there that you couldn't see in most other museums about Abraham Lincoln, but it's still a cool stop. If you're a National Park passport stamp enthusiast like Blair and I are, it's a great place to stop and take a little break and get a stamp in your book. And then we continued on 64 through St. Louis, and we stopped. I got tired of driving, but we stopped at a Cracker Barrel for the night.
Yep.
That's our first time we've spent a night in a Cracker Barrel parking lot, but there was one other RVer there for the night.
Yeah.
Quiet place, but we woke up early and got on the road. And by early, I mean early.
I just looked at my watch.
It's 2:50 in the morning. We're getting on the road.
Really early. Wide awake, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
I felt very rested by that point until we were in the car for about 45 minutes.
Yeah, and then she was
And then I started
nodding.
falling back asleep again.
When we drove almost due west for a long time through
Missouri,
cornfields.
cornfields.
Holy cornfield.
And then we went north and hit the corner of Iowa. So we got to see some Iowa cornfields.
Yep.
And then we went back over into
Went to the
Nebraska.
Yeah, we went to the Homestead National Park.
Yes, which is really cool. You can see all the different plots of land that homesteaders were given by the government. It was more of like a dart toss. You went into the office, you picked a plot of land, you didn't know what it looked like, you didn't know what kind of water was on it, you didn't know anything, and then you were to till and work this land and live off of it, and yeah, it was cool. Yeah, but it was really interesting.
But they consider that to be the first homestead because that's the first guy who filed for homestead.
Mhm.
During the Civil War, he had gone through there and knew that the place had land, had water, and
Yeah.
good for land. So when he
Yeah.
went to the courthouse to pick out his plot of land, he knew which one he wanted.
He did, and he went right after midnight.
Yes. So he was the first one to file his paperwork with the time date stamped on it.
Yeah.
So they consider him to be the first homestead, and
Yeah.
that's where that museum is.
Yeah. And they're trying to get the land back to what it looked like beforehand. So, of course, it had been...
The natural grasslands.
Yeah, the natural grasslands and the rolling hills. And yeah,
We ran around. Piper ran around.
she did. Yeah.
They got what a farmhouse looked like back then, a homestead farmhouse.
Yeah.
And the museum's really nice.
Yeah, they've done a good job with it.
As you walk up the pathway to get into the thing, there's signs of every state, and they have a square cut out of them. How many square miles of each state
Was
is a
homesteaded.
homestead land?
Yeah.
And it's amazing how.
It's cool to see the comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From there, we drove through more corn.
Mhm.
Stopped and got gas about 4 times,
Yep.
and then we ended up at a harvest host. It was a
It was a horse
farm, horse stable.
motel
Yeah,
kind
horse-
of thing,
yeah.
an overnight horse stop, which I don't think there were many horses there when we were there.
No.
But yeah.
Very
it
good
was
stop
fun.
along the way.
Yeah.
I did not know before we went to it that we were going to drive down a gravel road, because had I known, we would not have washed the truck. We stopped at the Blue Beacon truck wash to get our RV and truck wash just for the spray, because they do a really good job at all the ones we've ever stopped at.
Yeah.
And when you are just full of dirt and debris from the road, it's nice to be able to pressure wash it off.
Yeah, that is.
But we drove down this dirt road, and then it was
Yeah.
covered in rock dust.
And that was our fault. It said down in the Harvest Toast comments that it was on a gravel road for 2 miles.
We just didn't read that far down.
I just didn't read that far down.
But
so.
nice harvest host.
Yeah,
They do have
gorgeous sunset, sunrise,
Yes.
stars.
They have
They have hookups.
30 amp hookups if you
Yeah.
want to hook up to anything.
Yeah,
And I really enjoyed our stay there that
Yeah.
night.
that's cool.
The next day we drove to the Guinness Book of World Records largest rail yard
From 1995.
in the world.
Yeah.
Golden Spike Rail Yard.
Golden Spike Rail Yard, which is also a Harvest Toast as well.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
People say don't stay there. Well, people say if you stay there, expect the
to
trains
hear
are going to be
trains.
loud at night, because it is.
It's right on the rail yard.
And it's trains nonstop.
Yeah. But a lot of the comments said that although because you expected it, it was almost soothing in the middle of the night. So that would be cool too.
But there's a train shop and then rail yard
Yeah.
that goes across the continental U.S. Every way.
Yeah.
The Union Pacific Railroad is what it's ran by.
Mhm.
But there's a guy there's a tower you go up in,
Mhm.
and we did a little find all the answers quiz.
Yeah, we did.
Blair found all the answers,
Scavenger hunt.
and she was so smart they gave her some Smarties.
That's right. Get your prize at the end of the day.
You're so smart, so here's some Smarties.
Yeah.
From there, we drove into Wyoming, and we stayed in Cheyenne, Wyoming. There's an Air Force base there. We stayed at their little RV park.
Mhm.
They had just winterized that morning.
Yeah, that morning.
So they winterized, so there's no water at the time and no sewer, but you still had power. Excellent campground.
Gorgeous.
Highly recommended if
Yeah.
any of you are allowed to get on a military installation and stay at a campground. It is really fantastic.
It's spaces between the lots, plenty of lots, tree covered. It's very well done. Although there are some railroad underpasses you would have to navigate around, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, if you got a rig that's any size, you got to call them first and get directions to go there, because
Navigation will take you the wrong way.
it will. It'll take you and you'll get stuck.
Yes.
I spent the evening there. The next morning we went over to the Cheyenne Frontier Days Rodeo Museum.
Yeah.
Now, it's not so much on rodeo. I mean, it's partly on rodeo, but it's more on the frontier days. So the wagons of the day and, the cowboys of the West and how it all became the land that it is today.
Yeah.
It was a neat museum. I think I enjoyed chatting with the guy at the front desk more than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was really fun to talk to, and we had a good little visit there.
Yeah.
But
And you had been to Frontier Days.
I've been to the
many
Frontier
years
Days
ago.
rodeo many years ago.
Yeah. It was a cool experience.
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Now applying for a rodeo clown position.
Nope. I don't even think I'll be a bystander.
Oh yeah?
No, I'd be too nervous.
You ready to ride a bull?
No.
Why not? How about a wild horse?
Nope. No horse.
No buck and bronco?
No buck and bronco.
Where to, ma'am?
To the Wild West.
From there, we just got on the road and just drove west. Midway through, kind of 2/3 of the way west, going across Wyoming. And we stopped, there's a bigger town called Rock Springs, but the next town over is called Green River.
Yeah.
And Blair had done some research and found this cool website that gives you some help on BLM land, what to expect. She read all about it and was giving me all the inside information.
Yep.
So we drove up there and stayed on top of this
Yeah.
gorgeous ridgeline.
Plateau. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous.
The thing was, it was cloudy, so there was some little breaks in the sky. We got to see some stars and got to see some sunset and some sunrise, but it was mostly cloudy.
And raining.
Wild horses run around there.
Yeah, wild horses are known to be around there. We saw one on the drive-in and then a handful of them on the drive-out the next morning.
Definitely would stay there anytime. It was a cool place to stay.
Yeah.
We got some really cool photos out there.
Yeah, it was gorgeous.
And quiet place. Pepper enjoyed running around.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of spots on that road, but we stayed at the top.
Very many. And it, looking through the reviews, I think the largest, it tells you what the elevation is, what the temperature is like, what the largest rig that has come in on, which was like a tractor trailer towing a trailer. It was huge.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's plenty of camp spots.
State maintained dirt road, which is smooth all the way up.
Yeah.
And again, it had been raining. It was going to rain more that night, so there wasn't much dust, thankfully.
Yeah. And it's hard packed enough where with the amount of rain that we went through, it still wasn't muddy and there was no real concern about getting stuck.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And from there, we drove over to Utah.
Yeah.
And we're going to be floating around there for a while.
Yep.
So we did drive through some snow in Park City, Utah, coming across the mountains there. But we're getting ready for ski season here.
Yes.
We just loaded up our passes again and get ready to go ski
Wax
this
the
winter.
board.
Wax the boards. Getting settled into some RV living out here out west in the high desert, higher elevation.
Yep.
Piper and Scout have tripled their water intake.
Yes, they have.
And but we're glad to be out here. Excellent journey across the United States.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful to have the opportunities that we had.
Yep.
And to all the people we met along the road and the campgrounds and online. KYD community continues to be an awesome place. The Airstream Addicts continues to be an awesome place. The Harvest Host, I can't say enough good things about Harvest Host.
Oh my goodness.
The app is fantastic. The places are fantastic.
The people.
The people that we've met doing Harvest Host. It is a wonderful journey across America.
Yeah.
To stay off the grid and to stay at all, kind of weird locations, not austere locations, but off the grid locations. And if you have any opportunities to do that, please do. If you have a generator, most places allow you to use generators. Some places have hookups, but we have used,
Yeah.
most of our travels have been in harvest hosts.
Yes.
We pull into an RV park when we need to, recharge the batteries when we need to, but for the most part, excellent time of year. So spring and fall.
Yeah. Perfect.
And if you chase the 70-degree weather around the country, you can do that as well.
Very true.
But I enjoyed it.
I did too.
All right. Thank you all again for joining us. Thank you for letting us be a part of your day. We thoroughly enjoy the comments and the questions we get, and I'll say it till I don't say it anymore, is the people are the best part of this journey.
Yes.
We get to meet really, really unique folks. So
Yep.
thank you to everyone who stops and says hello to us, and love y'all.
See you on the road.
See you on the road.
That's right. Done. Okay, Pipe, you're free.